Hello everybody, welcome to Inverts and Herps. I'm Eric, and in this video I am going to just do a quick overview of camouflage in insects. So, as we know, insects are heavily preyed upon. They're a main food source for tons and tons of animals on this earth. So they have evolved to defend themselves and to help protect themselves from being food for predators. And insects have developed multiple ways. And my plan is to make a couple of videos kind of highlighting the different methods that insects use to help protect themselves from predation. So I'm going to start this video just doing a little thing about probably the most common method that insects use to protect themselves, and that is camouflage. So basically, camouflage is when an organism blends into its surroundings, primarily using their pattern they have, their coloration, any of that stuff, or their shape, to help blend in with their surroundings and hide them from whatever wants to eat them. And that's the quick and easy of it. I pulled out a few examples of some insects that I feel give a good representation of some of the camouflage that you can see in insects and how good it actually is. I have some specimens here from a couple different orders of insects, and then we're just going to go through them. And if I actually have pictures that I've taken of any of these, like in the wild, I'll include the pictures as well, so you can see what they would actually look like in their natural habitat instead of just the pin specimens I have here. So I'll show you some specimens, and if they have pictures or any pictures of example of camouflage, I'll post those as well. So without further ado, let's take a look at some pretty interesting insects. Alright, so when someone says insects and camouflage, for me personally, and probably a lot of people, the very first insect comes to mind, I think, are walking sticks, which are masters of camouflage. I have a couple species of walking sticks, but the one I have, like this northern walking stick, is probably going to be the best example of the species I have for camouflage type stuff. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at this beautiful specimen. Alright, so here we have a northern walking stick, and as you can see, it resembles a twig on a tree very, very well. I'm trying to get a zoom in a little. There we go. And northern walking sticks are this brown coloration, but as you can see on the legs, it does have green on the legs, and as you can see from the body, it passes as pretty much a perfect stick in the wild. Most walking sticks I see, they are actually crawling on a side of a building. But I have had a couple times where I have managed to find a walking stick or two in a tree, and let me tell you, they are hard to find. I mean, if you really want a definition of masters of disguise, look no further than the walking stick. Absolutely amazing insects. And obviously a walking stick had to be the first specimen I show you. Absolutely gorgeous. But we'll move on to the next one here. All right. And the second specimen, this really tiny specimen, is called a toad bug. Now, toad bugs are found on edges of ponds and water and wet areas. And these guys camouflage not on with branches or leaves or anything like that, but they camouflage with the ground and the rocks and pebbles and sand that you find on the banks of ponds and all that type of stuff. And these are actually quite variable in color. I do have a picture of a toad bug that I'll post here, just so you can actually see how well toad bugs are able to blend in. I mean, I wish I had better lighting, so you can get a really, really good look. But you'll definitely see exactly what I mean when you look at the picture. And put my hand next to it. That's how small they are. They're not big bugs at all. Way less size. They're small. They're smaller than my pinky fingernail. So they're a small type of bug, but they're really cool and fascinating. All right, we're gonna step it up a little bit in size now, and go to a group that I think a lot of people overlook in terms of their ability to blend in, and that is grasshoppers and katydids. You have some grasshoppers called toothpick grasshoppers. They're really, really thin and long, and they look like dead clumps of grass. They're really fascinating. But the specimen I'm going to show you is going to be a katydid. And this is the greenest specimen I have, which would give you an idea of what exactly they blend into. So I'm going to go ahead and take this katydid out, and we'll take a little bit closer look at just how cool and leafy these guys look. And here we go. Beautiful, beautiful katydid. This is a pretty large species and specimen. But as you can obviously see, how the wings look very much like leaves. And honestly, when they're alive, their whole body is green like that. There are some katydids that are like brown coloration. Yeah, and some even has some rare ones that have occasionally show up as pink. So that's really cool. I've yet to see one of those, but they do exist. But primarily, katydid colors are green. And you can actually see the veins on the wings, and it actually makes it look like leaf veins, which makes it so much more cooler. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I have any katydid pictures that actually showcase how well they blend in. But definitely worthy of making a little showcase here to show that they are really quite good at camouflage and blending into their surroundings. All right, we're just about done. We're on the last group of insects I'm going to just kind of showcase. And probably the most common example people would see in their everyday lives, and that is butterflies and moths. I have a couple different butterfly species I'm actually going to show you. They are all leaf mimics, like dead leaf mimics and bark mimics. but we'll go ahead and take a closer look, and we'll see just how pretty convincing they actually are. Alright, so we have the first little group here. This is a Anaya Andrea, the goatweed leafwing. And so I'll just take a look here at the top. You can see a really beautiful orange coloration there. And then on the contrast on the underside, you can see that it looks very much like a dead leaf. And they even have the tails on the wings there. That kind of makes it look like a leaf stem. So these are really, really pretty convincing leaf mimics. And definitely ones, if you're going to show a person a butterfly with camouflage, this would be a good species to go to, especially here in North America. Definitely a really cool and very beautiful species of butterfly. Alright, this is going to be the last little group of butterflies I show you. And this group of butterflies are actually going to be looking at a single genus. And I think I'll do a more in-depth look at this genus in a different video. But the genus is Polygonia. These are the angle-wing butterflies. And as you can see, all species in this genus are really, really well camouflaged. They all have that orange-brown coloration on the top wings. As you can see. And then the patterns differentiate between species. And then the underside, as you can see, is very heavily mottled and very cryptic. These guys can pass as dead leaves, bark on trees, leaf litter on the ground. It's actually quite amazing. And just looking at these right now, it looks like they blend in. They blend into each other. It's fascinating. And I think just looking at this little shot here, you can see how easily they can blend into their surroundings out in the wild. These are also called commas and question marks and all that stuff, because the wings have little markings on them. But that's something I can get into in depth more on video on these guys. But definitely a very, very, very excellent choice to use for showing just how cryptic and awesome butterflies can be at camouflaging themselves. So yeah, I think this is a good way to end it. Definitely a really cool genus. So yeah, this was just a quick overview and examples of different specimens of insects and how they camouflage themselves to protect them. So I hope you enjoyed this little show and tell. Definitely going to try and get a couple more videos on to showcase some insects and how they defend themselves. But I figured camouflage would be a good one to start with. So I hope you enjoyed. Always fun to look at stuff. And if you want to think about or considering supporting the channel, check out my Buy Me Coffee. I have a link down in the description. Whether just a one-time donation or become a monthly subscriber, feel free to check it out. I would appreciate that. But I hope you guys have a wonderful time. Keep exploring, appreciate what's around you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.